Yeah, I don't think this one's getting an intro. Um, what in the actual world was this Spurs Thunder game? This is not going to be one of my structured ones or one of my more structured videos where I'm more calm and all that, because it is 11 o'clock at night. And, I had this compulsion while watching this game where it's like, this is maybe the greatest game of my entire life. And Victor Wembanyama in 49 minutes has 41 points and 24 rebounds. This is the greatest game, not only from an individual player, but from a role player, because Alex Caruso in 32 minutes, 31 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Absolutely on fire from 3. I'm going to make sure to leave my microphone alone, all right? Because, we don't want to bang it up a little bit. But, oh my goodness, this game was fantastic, right? To open up the game, right? First half, Wemby doesn't start off as hot, right? The rest of the team kind of carries the slack. Get to the second quarter, you start to see OKC struggle a little bit where they're having Wemby as a shadow double out there to guard SGA. You see him not immediately up on SGA, but dropping back a little bit, so that way, if anyone does go for a back cut, if anyone goes for anything, Wemby's still there, but he's still able to apply pressure on SGA, no doubt. And that led to SGA having, by his standards, a pretty poor game, shooting 7 for 23. Now, he did have 12 assists and 5 steals and a block. The defense in this from Oklahoma City, fantastic, as you got 14 steals and 8 blocks, right? Fantastic. But San Antonio's was good as well, as they had 11 steals and 7 blocks. Because in this game, right, you had Dylan Harper. He was phenomenal. He was phenomenal, man. In his first true big test, he steps up to the call. That's 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal on 1 turnover. There's not a whole lot of negativity going on here, because all of the players who played pretty well, except for maybe Harrison Barnes and Luke Cornett, which that's okay, you live with it. Except for one man for this Spurs team, and that is Stefan Castle. It looked like he decided to put on anti-glue because he was slipping everywhere. He put on, it was a slip and slide when he was out on the court. It looked like someone had just doused his feet in water because he was sliding everywhere, as he had 11 turnovers in this game. A lot of times he got the ball high in positions where he shouldn't have, and that allowed this very good, very feisty and scrappy Thunder team to get in there and come away with a couple of steals. I do think that is a little bit concerning that one guy has more than half your team's turnovers. That's a no bueno there. But I do think that with the way he played, you got away with it this time. I would be a little bit concerned going forward about that. The scoring wasn't that great, shooting 5 for 14 and 1 for 6. Then again, this wasn't a 3-point matchup, so it's not like not making your threes hurt. For a long stretch of time, the Thunder weren't making their threes, and outside of Alex Caruso, they really didn't. As outside of Caruso, who shot 8 for 14 from 3, they had a total of their best 3-point shooter shot 2 for 4, and that was Chet Holmgren. And Chet did not have a great game at all, in my opinion. 8 rebounds, didn't do a great job neutralizing Wemby, as he had to get taken off of Wemby. He did have the block at the end of, was it the first overtime or the end of the fourth quarter? Either way, he had a game-sealing block to send it to overtime, or to the second overtime. But I do think that Chet didn't match up very well with Wemby. I do think that Alex Caruso's matchup with Wembanyama was phenomenal and fantastic. I think he played that super well, just not letting him getting into the post, not letting him get his paint touches, and that was absolutely key to slowing down Wemby a little bit. Because at some points when you have Wemby basically recreating that Steph Curry 3-point shot from 10 years ago, sorry, Oklahoma City fans, you've had it rough here, but recreating one of those shots and hitting a 30-footer from the logo to tie it in overtime, what can you do there? Especially in transition. I mean, that's just one of those where it's like, dang, All right, on to the next. This Spurs team, right? I'm all over the place. I'm scatterbrained. The game just ended, right? Don't don't rate me on my um organization of my thoughts and my view and all that. Let's not do that. Um, in this game, right? We'll stick with the Spurs to just get more organized, right? Julian Champagny, I think he played well. Good 3-point shooter. He was able to knock down some pretty decent shots. He knocked down one big one down the stretch of, I believe, the fourth quarter. That one was huge. Obviously, you have Wemby. Devin Vassell, I think he played well. He had 51 minutes, and he was gassed, and it showed a little bit. But he was an efficient scorer with 13 points on 12 shots. Was pretty good. Didn't turn the ball over a whole lot. 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He played well. He played well. Stefan Cass, we already spoke on this a little bit. In 49 minutes, he was not able to get much traction on the floor ever. He did have 11 turnovers, so he did have a triple-double, right? He had a 17 points, 11 assists, 11 turnovers, which not terrible. 1-to-1 turnover to assist ratio, not bad, not ideal, especially whenever a lot of those turnovers could have been easily prevented. But I do think that he contributed to winning in a sense, even though he had a -1 plus minus, which is basically nothing. I do think that you need to worry a little bit about the shot not falling in a couple of the shots he took, but he did have that crucial dunk down the end, towards the end of this game on, I believe it was SGA. That was absolutely monumental to bring the momentum back for this Spurs team. And then you have Dylan Harper. What a way to kind of anoint yourself as one of the key cogs of this future. Absolutely fantastic. He almost had a triple-double, but he was fantastic. He was pretty efficient with the ball in his hands, and I think he played very well. Keldon Johnson, he got back onto form with it. He was much, much better than he has been in the past, where in 22 minutes, 13 points on 9 shots and shot 50% from 3. That's exactly what you want to see. Carter Bryant, I think he was a hustle guy, man. He was all over the place. He was hounding Shea. When he was out there, I don't believe Shea scored a bucket, or at least I can't remember. Then again, there were a ton of buckets put up in this, as this was a game that started for me at 7 o'clock and it ended close to 11 o'clock. So, a lot of time there. But I do think that Carter Bryant, he played very, very well. I think the Spurs team especially responded to adversity and not being as deep as this Thunder team. I think they handled that very, very well. And speaking of this Thunder team, let's move over to them. Isaiah Hartenstein, he didn't play a ton of minutes simply because you can't really afford to have a player like him out there against Wembanyama because the floater stuff wasn't working. He attempted one and it didn't go in. Only had 2 points. He had a triple single, 2-2-2. 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. And a plus 2 point differential, and 2 defensive rebounds and 2 fouls. So really, it's the number of twos for him. I do think Isaiah Hartenstein, he played pretty well in those minutes. Came in a couple of times just to in situation. I think he played well, didn't play phenomenal, and didn't play great. Chet Holmgren, 41 minutes, you only get 7 shots up, not great. You get bullied on the defensive end, not great. He looked passive at times, not great. He did not play great one bit, and I know I've said that a little bit here. He just didn't perform the way you'd like. I would be a little bit nervous if going forward, that could be something that could be a little bit nerve-wracking. Although his defense was absolutely there. He played well. And speaking of defense, we have someone who he balled out. He had the most minutes in this game. Well, tied for the most with 51, and that's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Wasn't fantastic on the offensive end, but he came up big when it mattered. Can't really ask more than that. I mean, he is the clutch player of the year for a reason, as well as the MVP, getting presented the MVP before the game. 12 assists for him, 5 steals. I already spoke on this. He was phenomenal. The Spurs did do a great job of making sure he doesn't get onto his spot. They made sure by all means necessary we're going to need other people to step up and beat us, and they did. As a couple of players here, I'll let you know which ones were really, really responsible and monumental for keeping this Thunder team in it, because when you look at it, you lose the free throw battle by 11, right? And I know that that's not something that the Thunder are used to. I do think the Revs let them play physical. A couple of points I would have wished for both teams, right? Both teams to have been reined in. I think that is something that going forward could be looked at, because there are a couple times where you have Wemby just hooking an arm around Holmgren, preventing him from getting any type of positioning. But then you have another instance where Wemby's going up for a lob, and both of his arms, or one of his arms, is literally being held back and isn't called. So I do think that's something to look at a little bit as the series goes on. Next player up, Lou Dort. This is not a matchup for him. You can't really afford to have someone like him out there a ton, because at least for the great defenders, they can shoot. Lou Dort didn't really get his opportunity to, and rightfully so, as he shot 2 for 6 and 1 for 5 from 3. Was not a difference maker, was not a game changer. He is a good player, just this isn't the matchup for him. And J-Dub, what a way to reintroduce yourself following that hamstring injury, right? You weren't the most efficient scorer, but you know what? I don't care. You kept this Thunder team in it whenever, realistically, if you weren't out there, they would have been down. Oh, then again, they would have played Caruso, so maybe not. I think he played phenomenal. He was slashing, getting to the basket, getting into the mid-range. He was crafty, he was creative, and it counted for him, as he was absolutely phenomenal in this game and a key cog as to why this game went into double overtime, because let's face it, if he wasn't out there, this Thunder team probably lose. Before overtime. Before overtimes. I do think that this bench lineup didn't get utilized a ton outside of a couple players. Alex Caruso, right? 32 minutes, 31 points. He was phenomenal guarding Wemby. He was great. 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 2 rebounds. We're having a lot of 2-2-2s here. Aaron Wiggins, 4 minutes, nothing. Big Jalen Williams, 10 minutes, nothing crazy. He was just a rebounder. Not much to say there. Cason Wallace, good defender. He hit a couple of big threes, 8 points, 6 rebounds. He was very, very good. Jared McCain, I would have liked to see him play a little bit more, especially over. I would have liked for them to have cut some of the Lou Dort minutes and given them to Jared McCain. As McCain, he played pretty well here. He did have that one offensive foul for going for a box out on, I believe it was Stephon Castle or Dylan Harper, one of the two. And then you have AJ Mitchell. I would have liked to have seen him get more minutes. 34 minutes, cool. I feel like he should have at least got some of the Lou Dort minutes, should have got the Aaron Wiggins minutes, should have got a little bit of the Jalen Williams minutes. I would have liked to have seen him take more shots. He only shot 5, and he only shot 1 3-pointer, which for someone who I believe is the team's leader in the playoffs in terms of total points, or at least points per game, I believe he's up there. He is number 2 for players who played more than 2 games. I don't know where I got that from. It could have been from the Lakers series. But I think I would have liked to have seen him take more shots, just quite frankly. Because coming off of a series where he's averaging 23 points, I want you to shoot more than 5 shots. I don't like that for you. I think you gotta find a way to get him more shots. You got to. You gotta. Okay, now I know where I was getting the numbers from. AJ Mitchell was leading the team in scoring for the first 3 games of the LA series. Then game 4, SGA went off. And SGA didn't go off in this game. He was pretty much neutralized in this, and this entire game was phenomenal, man. This was just a treat. If I'm giving out 3 awards for who I think the main players in this game are, number 1, again, Victor Wembanyama. First time in what feels like forever where he played more than 40 minutes in a game. The last time he played over 40 minutes, we'll narrow it down to 35. That was in, April? No, March. March basketball, and that was against the Suns. If we're going for 40, he got pretty close. He got to 39 on March 5th. But you have to go all the way back until November. Or no, you have to go back till October for him to have got 40 minutes in a game. He does not play very long. And he did this game, and it was phenomenal. He was fantastic, getting close to 50 minutes, almost a point per minute, efficient. He did miss a couple of shots you would have liked him to have made, but that's like trying to find a pimple on Miss America. There's Come on. This was a phenomenal game. 12 from 13 from the free throw line. He was clutch there. He was crucial down the line to keeping the hopes and dreams of the Spurs alive. This entire Spurs team shot well from the free throw line. Thunder also did as well. Spurs did not shoot as well from three. The Thunder, outside of Caruso, did not. Um, this was a this was such a roll the ball out, see who gets a bucket and who doesn't. And in this game, the Spurs got a bucket. We are going to get to do an outro. Don't worry. But this was just a phenomenal game. One of the best games of my life. I'm probably going to post something tomorrow about it just because, like I said, it's 11 o'clock and, you know, I want to go to bed at a reasonable hour because I already know that doing all the snazzy stuff, editing and doing all that stuff for this video is going to keep me up a little bit late. But what a game, and hopefully what a series. This is for the first time in a long time where it feels like a series this hyped up has lived up to the hype. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this game, where you were when you were watching it, because let's face it, this is going to be one of those series and one of those games where you will tell your grandkids about when you you know the meme of the guy blowing off the book when he opens up. I'll probably put it on screen. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll just see. This is an absolute classic. This is one of the greatest games in NBA history, in my opinion, and I'm not being hyperbolic, or at least I don't think so. But that is all for game one. What a game, what a series. Hopefully it keeps up with this momentum. Absolutely fantastic. Once again, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe, as it is absolutely crucial and monumental for this channel, just like Alex Caruso was here in this game for this Thunder team. But without further ado, so long everybody, and until next time.